Alright guys, so I'm not really one to make betting predictions on this channel, but I'm going to pick Dmitry Bivol to win by knockout tomorrow in the early rounds. Not exactly a difficult pick to make. Michael Eifert, there's about 15 levels between Bivol and Eifert. Bivol is the undisputed champion of the world. I personally think he won both better BF fights, being the kind of fight fan who tends to score counter-punching. I more of just thought that Bivol added, more volume in that second better BF fight because the judges made him. I don't necessarily even think he needed to win that second fight because I thought he won the first fight. I thought it was 6-4, to be honest, the first better BF fight. And I kind of thought it was interesting and telling that in a matchup of undefeated fighters, they chose to, uphold the zero of the offensive fighters and the defensive fighter. I guess that makes sense from a scoring perspective, but from a pure boxing perspective, watching that fight, I still think that Bivol won that fight by a round. But Michael Eifert is arguably not even a European level fighter. He honestly might not even be a German level fighter. He got this mandatory position by beating Jean Pascal, who was really the guy who was kind of supposed to win the fight. There's fights like that in boxing where the IBF, I think, wanted to award Jean Pascal, who's a 40-year-old fighter with a very long career, fought basically everybody. They wanted to reward him for a long career, I believe, with that mandatory challenger position, and he lost the fight. Albeit making Eifert work very, very hard for the win and really doing everything he could with the skill set that he still had remaining against the much younger Eifert. But, Eifert won the fight with, I guess, speed and athleticism, having that on that point on Pascal. But, dude, Michael Eifert leaves his hands down and he's fighting Dmitry Bivol. Okay, there you go. This fight's probably not going to go 9 minutes. Eifert doesn't really have a great defensive skill set. He's got a professional loss, which Dmitry Bivol, you might notice, doesn't really actually have. He's got a professional loss to freaking Artur Beterbiev by controversial decision. Dmitry Bivol is maybe the most accurate fighter on the planet. You can't leave your hands down at all against Dmitry Bivol. Artur Beterbiev is an extremely disciplined high guard fighter, and Dmitry Bivol also fights out of a high guard. There's actually no way for Michael Eifert to win this fight. He actually cannot win this fight. Bivol is going to pepper him. Bivol is going to destroy him. This is going to be short. This is going to be brutal. It really probably is going to be bloody. I expect Michael Eifert pretty quickly to be cut up to the face if he just does what he did to Pascal and stands right in front of Bivol with his hands down. And it's amazing that Michael Eifert managed to win that Pascal fight doing that. But he got this IBF, mandatory challenger position essentially because he was able to survive the shots from Pascal, really, and survive the 12 rounds being the younger man. That's why he got this mandatory challenger position. He's had one fight since then. It was a 6-rounder, and his opponent quit on the stool in the second round. That's it. That was 2024, I believe. He hasn't fought since then. And now he's going to fight Dmitry Bivol, the most accurate puncher on the planet with maybe the best guard on the planet. Remember when he was, pushed back against the ropes by Canelo during the Canelo fight? And he was basically able to stop Canelo from hitting him just by holding his hand up to his ear because his arm is so massive, his elbow goes so low that he can basically block all the way down to his hip, and his bicep is so big that when he holds his arm up next to his head, his bicep basically blocks everything all the way up to his temple. So all he has to do is hold his arm to his side, and it just takes a micro little arm movement. He just has to do that, and he can block his whole head. He just has to drop his elbow an inch, and he's blocking his whole body. He's got the best guard I've ever seen. It's a massive part of the reason why he beat Canelo. He could just stand right in front of Canelo and trade with Canelo out of his high guard, man. How is a guy that doesn't even have a high guard going to beat him? It's literally impossible. So place your bets right now. Dmitry Bivol is going to knock this guy out in the first 6 rounds of the fight. Probably the first 4 rounds. Really, probably the first 3. I don't know how Michael Eifert's going to stop Dmitry Bivol from just landing at will. Honestly, it really could be I think it might be like a quick corner stoppage kind of thing too. It could be that, like a corner stoppage after one of the early rounds, but this fight is not going to go a very long time. This is going to be an easy night's work for Dmitry Bivol. And I think it's kind of telling that this was on the Glory and Giza undercard, right? In the position that Shiraz versus Begic fight was originally in, and you know how that one turned out, right? Shiraz just bowled right over Begic. I think I think that whole card was sort of meant to be a showcase for those fighters, right? So Usyk didn't really do his part, but Shiraz definitely did, and this was originally supposed to be Bivol's kind of showcase, right? Put him in front of the pyramids, have him blow away Michael Eifert. It'll be very cinematic. Unfortunately, the fight got moved back 2 weeks, and it's going to happen in Russia now instead of in Egypt. That's really the only difference. I expect a quick, ruthless, and brutal victory here for Dmitry Bivol. So that's my thoughts on that. Place your bets and like and subscribe for more combat sports content. I'll see you guys in the next one.